Hello everyone, you're on the channel, who created it and how? Today we're diving deep into a concept so fundamental to our lives that we often take it for granted, the calendar. How did we end up with 12 months, 365 days, and that quirky little leap year? What's the secret behind the very first calendar? Let's turn back the clock and find out. Long before smartphones and digital planners, ancient civilizations looked to the heavens for a way to track time. The earliest methods weren't about marking birthdays or scheduling meetings. They were about survival. When should we plant our crops? When will the rivers flood? When will the herds migrate? The answers were written in the sky, in the predictable dance of the sun and moon. Some of the earliest evidence of time tracking comes from the Paleolithic era. Archaeologists in places like Scotland have discovered arrangements of pits that seem to align with the lunar cycle, dating back as far as 10,000 years. These weren't calendars as we know them, but they were the first crucial steps. Early humans noticed the moon waxed and waned in a regular pattern, roughly every 29 or 30 days. This became the basis for the first months. They'd count the days between one new moon and the next. Simple, effective, and revolutionary. However, there was a problem with relying solely on the moon. A lunar year, which is 12 lunar cycles, is about 354 days long. That's roughly 11 days shorter than a solar year, the time it takes for the Earth to orbit the Sun. This discrepancy might not seem like a big deal, but over a few years it adds up. Seasons would start to drift. The month that was once perfect for planting would soon fall in the middle of winter. For an agricultural society, this was a disaster. A new system was needed, one that could reconcile the moon's phases with the sun's journey. Enter the ancient Egyptians. Their civilization was built around the mighty Nile River, which flooded its banks with predictable, life-giving regularity each year. The Egyptians noticed that the flooding always coincided with the appearance of a specific, brilliant star in the sky just before sunrise. This star was Sirius. They realized that the time between one rising of Sirius and the next was about 365 days. This observation was the key to creating a stable, solar-based calendar. The Egyptians devised a calendar with 12 months, each with 30 days. This gave them 360 days. To get closer to the 365-day solar year, they added 5 extra days at the end of the year. These 5 days were set aside for festivals and celebrations, a time to honor their gods. This system was incredibly accurate for its time and formed the foundation for many calendars that followed. It provided the stability that agricultural societies desperately needed, allowing them to plan their planting and harvesting with remarkable precision. But even the brilliant Egyptian calendar wasn't perfect. The true length of a solar year is actually about 365.25 days. That quarter of a day, just like the 11-day lunar gap, starts to cause problems over time. After 4 years, the calendar would be off by a full day. After a century, it would be off by 25 days. The seasons would once again begin to drift. The Egyptians were aware of this. But it was another great civilization that came up with the solution we still use today. The Romans. Their early calendar was a bit of a mess. It was originally based on the lunar cycle and had only 10 months starting in March. This is why September, October, November, and December have names derived from the Latin words for 7, 8, 9, and 10, even though they are our 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th months. The calendar was so inconsistent that priests, known as pontiffs, would sometimes add days or even whole months to extend the terms of political allies or shorten those of their opponents. It was chaotic. This all changed with the arrival of one of history's most famous figures, Julius Caesar. In 46 BC, after consulting with the best astronomers of his time, including the Alexandrian astronomer Sosigenes, Caesar introduced a sweeping reform. He ditched the lunar model and fully embraced the solar year of 365.25 days, inspired by the Egyptian system. To fix the drift, he introduced the concept of a leap year. Every 4 years, an extra day would be added to the calendar to keep it in sync with the seasons. This new system was called the Julian calendar. To get the calendar back on track after years of chaos, Caesar had to make a one-time adjustment. The year 46 BC became known as the Year of Confusion, because he had to add 90 extra days to it, making it 445 days long. It must have been incredibly disorienting for the average Roman. But once the reset was done, the Julian calendar provided an unprecedented level of accuracy and stability that would last for over 1600 years. The month of Quintilis was even renamed July in his honor. Later, Sextilis was renamed August to honor his successor, Emperor Augustus. But the story doesn't end there. The Julian calendar was great, but it still had a tiny imperfection. The true solar year isn't exactly 365.25 days, it's a little bit shorter, at about 365.2425 days. This difference is only about 11 minutes per year, but over centuries it added up. By the 16th century, the Julian calendar had drifted by about 10 days. This was a particular problem for the Christian Church, as it meant that Easter, whose date is calculated based on the spring equinox, was falling at the wrong time of year. Wrong. So, in 1582, Pope Gregory III stepped in to fix it. With the help of his astronomers, he introduced a refined system known as the Gregorian calendar, the very same one most of the world uses today. The reform had two parts. First, to correct the accumulated drift, 10 days were simply skipped. In October of 1582, the day after Thursday, October 4th, was Friday, October 15th. Imagine going to bed on a Thursday and waking up 10 days in the future. Second, to prevent the drift from happening again, the leap year rule was slightly tweaked. The new rule was this: a year is a leap year if it is divisible by 4, except for end of century years, which must be divisible by 400. So the year 2000 was a leap year, but the years 1700, 1800 and 1900 were not. This seemingly small adjustment makes the Gregorian calendar incredibly accurate, losing only about one day every 30,300 years. The adoption of the Gregorian calendar wasn't immediate. Catholic countries like Spain, Portugal and Italy adopted it right away, but Protestant and Eastern Orthodox countries were suspicious of a decree from the Pope. It took centuries for it to become the global standard. Great Britain and its American colonies didn't switch until 1752, by which point they had to skip 11 days. There were even riots in the streets, with people demanding, "Give us back our 11 days." So the next time you glance at your calendar, remember the incredible journey it represents. From ancient sky watchers marking lunar cycles on bone, to Egyptian priests observing the stars, to Roman emperors and popes making bold reforms. Our calendar is a testament to thousands of years of human ingenuity, observation, and our relentless quest to understand and organize the world around us. It's not just a tool for scheduling our lives, it's a direct link to our ancient past and the brilliant minds who figured out how to measure the rhythm of the cosmos. What an amazing story, right? It just shows how even the most common things in our lives have fascinating histories. Thanks for joining me on this journey through time. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to Who Created It and How, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss our next exploration. See you next time.